Okay, so this is my video entry number 2 for my zero waste uh, semester project. It is exactly 10:50 p.m. On Thursday, February 9th, so today's my 4th day. And my current thoughts and feelings are that I'm exhausted. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the zero waste semester. Um, but I am constantly hungry, like a lot. And although I am definitely like eating healthier, um, the problem is, am I eating enough? And so what I'm going to be doing next week, hopefully starting on Sundays, I'm going to buy a lot of food in bulk that I can from Weis without like using the packaging or anything like that. And and then I'll be kind of like creating my own food. So obviously I'll still eat at Muddy and Baker when I can, but for times when I need my snack, I will use that. Um, Other thoughts? It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. And that's going into this knowing that it would be hard. Because every time I start eating something that I think is okay, I realized, well, there's still like some waste that like had to be part of this. And so with all this, I have to, I guess, like define my limits. You know, because once I run out of my shampoo or deodorant or any kind of toiletries like that, what do I do? You know, and at that point I can obviously make my own stuff, but then I'm spending more money to buy produce that was brought to me through a van, which is wasting oil, which is putting like uh, carbon dioxide and other bad gases into the environment. And so everything is very connected, and it's kind of really hard to conceptualize. So as of right now, I'm really only focusing on reducing my plastic waste, and yeah. So basically, the purpose of this first week was to do kind of like a trash evaluation of how much I can single-handedly, without really changing a lot in my life, take down my waste. Which, if I look at it as what I'm like physically generating, I really don't create that much. In 4 days, I've only created one paper towel from the bathroom that I accidentally took, and now I have to keep it. A muffin wrapper that I also accidentally kept because I wasn't thinking, and a plastic cup and a plastic spoon. So that's 4 plastic things. The plastic cup and spoon were used in my food fermentation class, so I have just a cup of tofu in my fridge. So hopefully I'll be able to find it like a use for that. Like maybe I'll put a plant in there. Maybe I don't know. But we'll see. So yeah, it's only day 4 and I already feel a little sick, and that could absolutely be because of the like flu going around and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I'm wondering if there is a correlation between my like, fatigue and the way I'm eating. So the goal for next week is going to be to try and change it. Um, and so like one of the readings that I have been able to relate this back to is one of the first ones that Thich Nhat Hanh did. And this would be on page 4 of our Working for Peace, the sections that we read. And the quote that I really find like instrumental to what I'm doing is page 67. He says, we were never so dangerous as we are now. We should be aware. The most basic precept of all is to be aware of what we do, what we are each minute. Every other precept will follow from that. And you know, like this is kind of the quote that made me want to start this. And before I actually began the zero waste semester, I just kind of took it to assume, oh, we just have to be aware of like what we're putting into the environment, what we as an individual are creating, and now that's kind of evolved into a much like broader sense of how really detrimental the human race kind of is to the environment around it, and I mean that in kind of like the most realistic way possible, because I don't feel like we as a species are aware of how much we affect everything around us. Um, and because of that, we really can't understand how to fix it, you know? And so right now I'm at the basic precept of learning or being aware of everything that I'm doing. And every day it's becoming more and more prevalent of wow, I've used this sustainable alternative. What would happen if I would have used this plastic container? Like, where would it have gone? And I look around, and even to the people that I told this about and I've explained it to, they in themselves have not really changed at all. And so, for example, my friend and I were eating dinner one night, and I was eating out of a bowl that could just easily be washed, and she was eating out of a plastic salad bowl and a plastic drinking cup. And I asked her, "Is this just like an unconscious choice that you did? Is this easier? Like, why'd you do this?" And she said, "I just chose this because one, this is what was just initially offered to me. Two, because it was the most convenient option. And three, which is probably the most important, is just I wasn't thinking about anything other than what I needed." So she wasn't really aware of how much this one meal could affect so many other things. It's kind of like the butterfly effect, right? Um, and so it's kind of really difficult to deal with, to understand like how much the things we do in our lives affect not only ourselves but the ones around us, the general environment, the economy. Like, there's so many different like aspects that our actions take that's really hard to conceptualize. And then another kind of, not quote, but just like a general feeling. So we've been talking about suffrage today. That was a topic in class, and then we did abolition on Tuesday. And what these people went through, you know, was terrible, and was really an injustice. And so for them to keep pushing and fighting against all these obstacles that are put in their way, it's inspiring and daunting at the same time. It's inspiring because it gives me hope that I can, you know, push through and I can keep going with this. But it's also daunting because what if I can't, you know? And if these abolitionists and these suffragettes, if they pushed so hard and were able to overcome all of this, what does that say about my character if I can't merely make a life choice change? So it is very, very self-reflective, and in only 4 days. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And actually today I did the poem that I do for my meditation if something goes bad, and I mentioned that in my first video, and that helped. but it took me really 10 minutes to really understand it. And what I really like is that in the first sentence of the poem it says, breathing in, I calm body and mind. It's not I calm my body and mind, it's just I calm body and mind. And I'm talking about how we need to be aware of everything kind of around us. And I think that's a really strong message that you're not just calming yourself and your needs. You're calming yourself, and then you're calming everything else that you could be interacting with or be aware with. And everything is kind of coming into a calmer state. And it's no wonder that I chose this poem, and I didn't even know that I had the connection beforehand. But even with all this, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, I've only produced in 4 days, like 4 pieces of waste. Could you imagine if we could get that on a college level or beyond that? My God. But the first step has to be that I need to show people that's possible. So the journey continues. Till next time.